John Campea is saying that J.J. Abrams is going to be developing a solo Superman movie with Henry Cavill in the lead. And the thing is, I totally believe it. Question is, how would fans feel about this? Oh, this juicy DC news. The first contest in the upcoming Nerd Cart Showdown is June 3rd at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You better be there. Man, oh man, the hits just keep on coming for DC. I was actually going to be doing a Star Wars video today. I was working on that, and then all of a sudden, John Campea comes out and says, yeah, J.J. Abrams is probably doing that solo Superman movie. Now, just to be clear, what he is saying is that Bad Robot will be developing this movie. There's no word on if JJ himself would actually direct this film or not, although a lot of signs pointing to the fact that he probably would direct it himself. He had previously developed a Superman project in the past. I mean, honestly, this is not a big stretch to think that this was going to happen. I've kind of been on this train for a little while now. I can't exactly confirm that this is indeed happening, but from everything I know, I imagine it would take an incredible falling apart of things behind the scenes for this not to happen. At the very least, Bad Robot will come in and develop a solo Superman movie, and Henry Cavill will likely be starring in that movie. I think it's 100%. Now, the interesting thing here, the trades are behind on this one, right? They're not breaking this. They're not corroborating John's story. I know it just came out like a little bit ago, but nobody's really reporting on this. There's a lot of talk about this. Look, it goes back to something I've been talking about a lot lately, but I sort of focused on this in the video yesterday, talking about Henry Cavill in general coming back for the role of Superman. Take everything you think you know and how normal procedure with these things is going and how the trades report this kind of stuff and throw it out the window. AT&T just broke the game. They just literally changed things at a monumental level. So anybody coming out telling you like, hey, we're not getting a Man of Steel 2 anytime soon, which I have seen people report on, I would not buy into that. I think they could literally streamline something out in the next couple of years. And I just wholeheartedly believe that that's possible. But we've got to talk about the fans, man. You know, it's one thing to talk about this from a business perspective, and I will touch on that. But the thing that's really interesting is we're living in the wake of the Snyder Cut coming out. We're living in the wake of fans being listened to, fans feeling like they have a lot of power, and rightfully so. This was a crazy thing that happened. And fans, I think, are very split. From what I have seen about, this report out there, what I've seen of people, fans seem really split. You go look at the Reddit post about this, fans are pretty split on it. You look at different people talking about this on Twitter, there's a lot of retractors from J.J. Abrams. I'll say this. I think that the Rise of Skywalker tarnished JJ's brand maybe more than we're all willing to admit. Now, look, I actually like that movie, but I'll be completely honest with you. As time has gone on, I like it less than I did when I first saw it. Now, I still stand by liking the film, but yeah, JJ, man, he messed up some stuff in that movie, and from some stuff that I know from behind the scenes, he also had some really interesting creative ideas that he bailed on for The Rise of Skywalker and just kind of went with this philosophy of, oh, they don't really need to have the explanation. Oh, that's not really important. And he's really good at making a movie flow cinematically and sort of disguising the flaws of a script or of a story with just really good adventure type filmmaking. But I say all of that to say that I think his brand was tarnished after The Rise of Skywalker, and there's a lot of people really, really concerned about him coming in to do a Superman film. And what I'm really interested in here is how are fans going to vocalize their either support or disdain for this decision? Once the trades catch up to this, once more people start reporting about this, it's going to be fascinating to see, do fans kind of vocalize their not wanting for J.J. Abrams to get the solo Superman? Is that going to be a thing? And then it's also going to be interesting to see how much does AT&T listen to that. As I said, I think a lot of the old rules are gone. Now, I'll be real with you guys. I agree with what John and Robert Meyer Burnett said on John Campea's show earlier today, that the fact is this has already been decided. Like, it's already been decided. They've already figured this out. It's happening, right? But that's not to say that AT&T couldn't couldn't put the kibosh on it, or they couldn't maybe lobby to JJ and say, hey, look, we know that Bad Robot is going to do this and we want Bad Robot to do this, but what if somebody else directed it? We're seeing online that this might not be the most popular choice to have you direct this, JJ. There's a part of me that's thinking that wouldn't happen and that the studio would hold strong and be like, no, we want JJ to do it. And I think it's a really smart business decision, as I'll get into in a moment here. But it's just interesting. AT&T seems to be wilding out. They're like listening to the fans. They're the new sheriff in town. And so I don't put it past AT&T to see an overwhelming amount of pressure that says, no, JJ, please, no, 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 no. And then that having influence on what Warner Brothers does. But we'll just have to see.
Look at me.
Sure.
Look at me.
Sure.
I'm the captain now.
Now, before I talk about my personal feelings about this and just speculate on how I think it will all go down, I just wanted to bring up the fact that from a business perspective, this would just be brilliant, because even though I did just tell you that J.J. Abrams' brand was hurt by The Rise of Skywalker, it's not as hurt with casual audiences or normies. And here's the thing, even if you're a person that really didn't like that film, I think you can admit that that was a movie loved by audiences. That audience score is very high, especially when you juxtapose it against the critical score. And the truth is, I've seen that movie with a lot of different people, and I've never had my family or like normies respond to a Star Wars film the way they did that movie. I think it might be the most mass appeal Star Wars movie ever created, even if a lot of the hardcore people found a lot of issues with it. The bottom line is, in fandom, it is sort of an echo chamber. We're all watching these videos. We're all talking about this stuff. It isn't a reflection of what the wider movie-going audience actually feels or thinks about these people. So, yeah, did J.J. Abrams' brand get hurt? For sure. And he might get some backlash and some fans being vocal about not wanting him to do this. I think that's very possible. But the bottom line is, from Warner Brothers' perspective, this would almost guarantee $1 billion. J.J. Abrams coming out, doing a Superman movie with Henry Cavill would be massive, guys. It would be massive. And I think a lot of the normies or casual movie-going audiences would really respond to that. So I think they have a really strong case to putting J.J. in charge of this film. Now, for me personally, I actually think JJ has perfect sensibilities to do Superman, especially when you consider the fact that we really believe that Warner Brothers is going from the darker, grittier Zack Snyder stuff to a more hopeful, more, let's just call it a commercially viable for branding version of Superman. They're going to the Boy Scout. I mean, this is something I've been repeating in a lot of my coverage about the Justice League Snyder Cut, about the new plans with Warner Brothers moving forward. They are clearly trying to take all of their fans and bring all of their fans on board with a singular vision and go from the darker stuff in a more organic way to the iconic, hopeful Superman from the comics. But you know what else? I always talk about how I love it when people have a chip on their shoulder. I love it, man. It can make for some of the best work that people do. And I think JJ has a huge chip on his shoulder. I think either way, even though I think he was actually responsible for a lot of the decisions for episode 9, like there really isn't a JJ cut as far as I know. Like a lot of those decisions were made by JJ. And as I've kind of been alluding to, he had some really interesting stuff that he was going to do in that movie, and he backed off of it. But I think he's fully aware that a lot of audiences took a lot of shots at J.J. Abrams after that movie. He's got a big chip on his shoulder. So I think him coming in and doing a Superman movie, something he really cares about, he loves that character, it's iconic for him. Doing a movie like that with a chip on your shoulder could be a great comeback story for JJ, a great redemption in the eyes of a lot of hardcore fans, and make for really great work. Ultimately, like, all this stuff is really interesting and fun to talk about, but I think we mostly care about the quality of the film. JJ is a good filmmaker, and I think he could do something really great with Superman, considering the chip he has on his shoulder from Rise of Skywalker. And I think as far as tone goes, he's great for Superman. He's great for that version of Superman, the Boy Scout version of Superman, and having just a great adventure. I think the visual effects will be on point. I mean, Rise of Skywalker had some incredible visuals in it. You can't deny that the dude does great with visualizations. So I just think that all of those factors add up to me being really supportive of a J.J. Abrams, either Man of Steel 2 or solo Superman film in general. But those are my thoughts, what people are saying, and I, of course, want to know what you think about this in the comments section below. And now let's shout out Hamad Hassan. Yes, indeed, the name of Darkseid before he became Darkseid was Uxis. So shout out to you, Hamad. And now let's ask another nerd card question before we get out of here. I want to know, what is the name of the upcoming Superman animated movie coming out from Warner Brothers? That's right, they're doing another crazy animated movie with Superman. What is the name of it? Answer that question in the comment section below. If you absolutely need more nerdy content in your life, you can click or tap over there to watch some more of our videos, or come on by our live streaming channel where we live stream every day, Monday through Friday, starting at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Like this video if you liked it. If you want to take your support to the next level and join the list of amazing people you see listed below, check out our Patreon for some behind-the-scenes content. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.